Welcome back and welcome to another reading vlog. And these are inadvertently becoming weekend reading vlogs. It is Friday, the work week has been hectic, and to be honest, I didn't pick up a book to read again until last night. So there was really not a whole lot to talk to you guys about, but I am still reading, so we're putting this reading slump to bed. We're knocking on all the wood on the planet that it is truly gone, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about my reading life right now. I'm not reading like the 8, 10, 12 books that I was reading in 2020, 2021 a month, but I am reading, and that makes me so happy. It is the middle of the workday though, so I'm not going to linger too long, but I will kind of give you a little bit of a reading update. So in this vlog, you will likely be hearing more about The Gentleman's Gambit by Evie Dunmore, which is the historical romance that has been mentioned, I think, in the last 2 vlogs. I don't know how far along I am in that book at this point, but I really haven't picked it up since last weekend when I ended up basically binging a good third of Hamnet in an afternoon. That felt good, not gonna lie, but I'm gonna hopefully finish that book. In addition to that, I've started reading The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. I picked it up yesterday. I'm actually listening to the audiobook. I don't know why I do this to myself. I own the physical book, but it is what it is. I started listening to it yesterday, and I'm about 18 to 20% in, if I remember rightly. So you'll definitely be hearing more about that book on this vlog as well, and then whatever other books tickle my fancy in the meantime. But now I'm gonna get back to work, and I'll check in with you guys. I'll let you know my initial thoughts on The Marriage Portrait in a bit, probably after work, to be quite honest. But it is much later. It is after 9 o'clock at night. I just worked. Literally, that was it. I worked, I stopped working, I ate, I watched movies, and now I'm up here, and I was like, oh shoot, I meant to chat with you about The Marriage Portrait. So yeah, I started reading it. I am 18% in, according to the story graph, and it's interesting. I think it's very interesting to read this book so closely to Hamnet, because you see certain things about Maggie O'Farrell's writing style and the way that she handles these books that are very similar, which I'll get into because I've started to notice some of that stuff. But, ooh, sorry. I put a light on a timer and it just went off. Firstly, what is The Marriage Portrait about? It's about Lucrezia de Medici, who is a 16-year-old girl who ends up marrying Alfonso d'Este. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, Duke of Ferrara, who is like double her age or thereabouts. And in the real world, biographically, Lucrezia dies within like a year or so of being married, and there are rumors that she has been offed by her husband. Okay, so this is one of these books that starts with the ending, which is Lucrezia dies under some sort of mysterious circumstances, and the book is doing kind of the back and forth that we saw with Hamnet, where you're learning backstory at the same time as you are seeing what's happening kind of present day in the course of the book. So we hear all about Lucrezia's childhood and are continuing to hear about it, and what makes her kind of unique as a young girl and woman as she is dining with her husband and contemplating him trying to murder her or have her murdered. She's not sure, but she has a sense of foreboding that something is about to happen. That's kind of where we are. It's interesting to me, like I said, to be reading this book so soon after finishing Hamnet, just because, like, there is this way where I feel like Maggie O'Farrell loves cause and effect. She loves causation. So in the case of Hamnet, like, she went into vivid detail about how the plague got into the Shakespeare household, like talking about the flea and how the flea was transported and how, like, just lots of it. Here, the causation is Lucrezia, and the book starts with, like, talking about her conception and, like, why she's apparently kind of the way she is because, like, her mother's mind was wandering at the time of conception. They were in the map room or whatever. And so it's just interesting to, like, see kind of that rhythmic, and this happened because this happened, and then that happened because that happened, and I'm intrigued. It was not how I expected the book to start, though. But as for the character of Lucrezia, I'm intrigued. I don't think I'm quite as smitten with her right now as I was with Agnes in Hamnet. Actually, I think I'm more smitten with her mother, Eleonora, I believe is how it's pronounced. I'm listening to the audiobook and I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. She intrigues me. She is a badass. I like her a lot, what we have seen of her and the marriage, Lucrezia's parents. I like that, whatever that is going on. But yeah, it's interesting. Right now I feel like it's too early to tell. Like, as I said, Lucrezia thinks that her husband is going to kill her or have her killed, but she's not certain. We know, based on the, like, author's note or the historical note or whatever, that she dies. But now we're all kind of on tenterhooks trying to see, like, is it actually the husband that kills her or not? We don't know. But that's where I am with the book. I'm enjoying the writing style. I'm enjoying sort of these little snippets of history that are getting thrown in. I feel like the world building, as far as, like, historical fiction goes, is really nice so far. But I still feel like I'm a little too early on in the book to really have major thoughts on Lucrezia, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's kind of where we are with that. I am planning to read more of this beauteous book. Please ignore stupid Barnes & Noble sticker. But I am looking forward to listening to more of this. I am contemplating visiting my parents, and if that does happen, that is 2 hours round trip in the car to listen to the audiobook, which would be lovely. I also have errands to run, my usual grocery shopping, that sort of thing, which again would be more time to listen to the book. So we're going to keep plugging along with that. I do think in the morning, though, I'm going to try to read The Queen's Gambit, which is somewhere in my bed. Maybe. No? It's here somewhere. But anyway, it is time for this old lady to get some shut-eye. So I will see you mañana. I do have a tripod, so I don't know why I'm trying to balance you on a million things. But good morning! My morning has not gone entirely to plan. I didn't have the best sleep last night, so I ended up basically sleeping later than I normally do before being able to talk to my parents, and so I've done no reading. None. And now, ow, that feels tight in my ear. Now I'm on the way to my parents because somehow they have a selection of stuff from my winter gloves to my Yeti travel mug to candy, my birth certificate. They've accumulated all of this stuff somehow at the house, at their house, and I don't know why. So I'm going down there on a mission to repossess my belongings and also to spend some time with them, to be quite honest. But anyway, no reading updates. I apologize. I am going to be listening to the marriage portrait in the car. So hopefully you'll have an update on that later. I would really, really, really love to finish The Gentleman's Gambit tomorrow, but that might be a tall order, so we'll see. To plan, but that does not mean it wasn't a lovely day. It was. It really was. I spent most of the day with my family, but because I was trying to be present with them, I went shopping with mom, I hung out with dad while he was watching college basketball, which I know nothing about and couldn't even feign interest. We hung around the house and just did lovely things like that. Mom and I went to lunch, but because I was trying to be present with them, I wasn't exactly pulling out the camera to vlog or film B-roll or anything like that. So there hasn't been much of that today. But I did want to give you a book update, and I did want to share some exciting house bits that I picked up while shopping with my mother. I will say, just for anyone watching, I've been trying to put timestamps in the description. So if you're really only here for the bookish content, you can easily go to book updates or reviews when I've finished the books so I can give my kind of holistic impression. Or if you love the B-roll, lifestyle-y type things, that will be mentioned whenever it's more than a little bit of B-roll. So just want to put that disclaimer out there. So if you're not interested in any of the house bits, I'd say skip to the next The Marriage Portrait update. But first and foremost, all of the things for the house. I am very, very much, I feel in a nesting phase. I don't know why. I've been in this house now for nearly 2 years. And I mean, I've done things, we painted before I got here, I've been buying furniture, changing up things, but lately I've just felt really very into styling the home, a little bit like how I've been really trying to take care of myself and make myself feel good. It's now kind of moved past me to my domicile. So I did pick up a few things that I am very, very excited about today. So first and foremost, this is all from HomeGoods / TJ Maxx. First and foremost, cutting boards, which I know is not an exciting thing at all. But this was a 2-pack and I'm very excited about it. One of the things I noticed is that I have stone, really fancy chopping boards and cutting boards, which are great for like if I'm entertaining or doing anything fancy, but it's not something I pull out all the time. And then I have a lot of plastic ones, but I was reading somewhere that like over your lifetime, if you're chopping on plastic, you're actually ending up consuming some of the like microplastics because you're like basically eroding the plastic while you're chopping. So I wanted to get some good old-fashioned wood ones, and these were just lovely. So I got that. Mom is very excited about this. She actually bought it for me. It is a little stoneware clock. She has been very, very upset that I do not have an actual like clock in this house. Like I have the clock that's on my microwave and my stove, but I'm always just like, but everyone has their phone or the laptop, or like I have my Apple Watch or she has her watch. She was very insistent that I get a clock. So we got this stoneware clock. Very excited about it. I need to put, I think it's a AA battery. So next I got these, which are like little candle holders. There was something about them that I just really liked the shape. They give me like a nod to like old fashioned like brass candle holders, but they're ceramic and they're in like these modernist colors, and I feel like they'll just be good for styling. So I got these. These were amazing. These were $6 a piece. I was very, very excited about them. I got this bad boy, or bad girl, I should say. I have no idea where I'm going to put this vessel. It is like you can put long stem flowers or things there. But there was just something about this, like this female form, that I just abso-freaking-lutely loved and had to have it. As I said, I don't know where it's gonna go, but it was just kind of too fabulous to not take with me. So I will need to find this lovely lady a home. The like big purchase though for this trip to HomeGoods, courtesy of my mama because she bought it for me. These two pillows, okay? I don't know how well you will be able to see them because they are massive, but they are William Morris pillows and they are amazing. I was actually looking at William Morris like wallpapers for my powder room, but I feel like these are gonna look beautiful on my bed, gonna add a little bit of softness and femininity, and they're absolutely perfect. And Mom saw how much I love them, so she decided to gift them to me. So I am very, very pleased about these massive, massive pillows. So yeah, that's all the like houseware stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to put some of it out tomorrow. The pillows definitely coming upstairs with me tonight, but we'll see where I can find homes for certain things potentially tomorrow. Some of it might be a work in progress. So if you're not interested in the house content, and you're only here for the books, now let's talk books. So The Marriage Portrait. I listened to this both on my way to my parents and then on my way home. But basically, I've gotten to the wedding for Lucrezia and Alfonso, which is not a spoiler because we know she gets married. She thinks her husband is going to kill her. So we have that in the background, and then we have her, as I've said previously, thinking that her husband is trying to kill her. Like she just has this intuition that he's taken her to this like fort or fortress out in the middle of nowhere, and she's insistent that this man is about to murder her. Impressions. First of all, the wedding day went on forever, and I'm not even officially done with the wedding day. Like it was a good 45 minutes to an hour of the audiobook. And that was just like the morning of the wedding through to like the service, basically. And now I started another chapter that is like leaving after the wedding festivities for the like honeymoon to go to her new home, her Ferrara, to go to Ferrara, which I'm assuming is going to also encompass the wedding night situation. So it's a lot of wedding in this book. Like it's a lot, maybe a little bit excessive, actually. Still, the writing is beautiful. The characters are great. The historical sort of vibe and world building is great. But I will say, part of me is more interested in some of the kind of side characters than in Lucrezia. Like, don't get me wrong, Lucrezia is fascinating. She's kind of the quote unquote not like other girls type of girl, where like her sisters are very into their fashion and their jewelry and the this and the that, and she's just riveted by her painting. Like, that's her thing. And she's not looking forward to marriage and doesn't want to marry. And I mean, I don't blame her. I don't. But I find that I'm interested in certain characters and want to see more of them. Like I've already mentioned, I would really, really love to know more about Eleonora, her mother, Cosimo's wife. I would love to know more about their relationship, which like Lucrezia kind of romanticizes in this way because it was like a love match. Those two, fabulous. Sophia, who is Lucrezia's nurse with all of her missing teeth, like she's taking care of all these children. I would love to know more of her story because the way she protects Lucrezia, it's like mama bear sort of stuff, and I kind of love it. I would love to know her like story. And I mean, I am interested in Lucrezia, don't get me wrong, but it's like those characters that I would just love more of and that I like have zeroed in on, if that makes any sense. And I don't know if it's just because I tend to not gravitate towards stories about like teenagers and children, which I realize sounds a bit weird because I just finished Hamnet, but Hamnet ended up being more about his mother than it did about Hamnet himself. And Agnes was in her 20s at the start of the book, you know? Whereas Lucrezia, at this point, she's been a child. She gets married off when she's like 14, 15. Like, she's still a child, even in kind of the book's present day, even though the situation she's in, being married off and things like that, is very much like, to us today, like an adult issue, but she's still like psychologically a child. So I don't know if it's because I just don't typically gravitate towards that age group in stories. It's why I don't read that much YA, that I'm kind of more interested in the older women in the book. But like I said, the writing is great. There's this like sense of foreboding, and I'm kind of torn. I don't know what camp I'm in. I don't know if I'm in camp Alfonso does end up murdering his wife for whatever reason, or camp like it was illness or some other uncontrollable thing that ends her life so early. Because as of right now, like, we just have what seems like Lucrezia's paranoia. So I will be interested to see how that kind of all plays out. And I don't know what I think. The book, that is going well for me. The like, did he, didn't he? And I mean, we haven't even gotten to it happening yet. we just know that from like the note at the beginning of the book, like she dies kind of like a year or so into the marriage, and there are these rumors that it was her husband who did it. So it's kind of like a murder mystery, except we don't yet have a body. So enjoying it so far. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking on that one right now. It is not late. I don't know what time it is, but it really isn't late. But I think what I'm going to do now is just kind of unwind. I need to finish editing tomorrow's vlog, which I think will be another weekend vlog. I need to get that uploaded to YouTube, which I might wait until the morning to do, not gonna lie. I think I really just want to like sit on my couch, watch some TV, and then eventually get some shut-eye. But yeah, that's it for now. I'll check with you later. It is a gloomy, dreary, rainy, snowy, icy sort of Sunday, which is perfect weather, in fact, for reading, as I have discovered. I woke up this morning and I was like, I'm gonna read The Gentleman's Gambit, because I feel like I've been taking forever to read this book. To be honest, I feel like the first 25% or so moved a little bit slowly. Like I wasn't getting enough of the romance, and when it's a historical romance, like that's what I'm here for, people. That is what I'm here for. It was progressing a little bit slowly. This was another book that had me in its chokehold this morning. And I know that is aggressive. And I know I said that with Hamnet, and so it's gonna be overused and cliche, and you're not gonna believe me. But I started this morning by picking up this book and saying, I'm gonna read for an hour, okay? An hour came and went, and I said, you know what? Let me try to read to page 200. 200 is a nice round number to end on. 200 came. Well, you know, if I read to 230, then it's basically I've doubled how much of the book I've read. 230. Page 230 came. Couldn't stop. Wouldn't stop. The only thing that made me stop was that I do in fact have some adulting to do today, so I can't just sit here and binge this book all morning and afternoon. Although I do, in fact, want to do those things. I'm really enjoying the book right now for a number of reasons. I think because now we're actually seeing both the steamy, physical sort of side of the relationship, and Evie Dunmore does those scenes very well, let me just tell you. You're getting to see that, but you're also seeing sort of the connection between the two of them forming. They have things in common. They respect one another's opinions, and it's just been fascinating, to be quite honest, to start to see it develop and to feel like it's now in romance territory. I will say that so far this book is feeling a little bit more political than some of the others, which is strange because all of them talk about the suffragette movement and the passage of certain laws in Parliament. But I just found it very interesting that in this book, Evie Dunmore has characters kind of sort of trying to equate how women in England are disenfranchised and treated, and how sort of the indigenous non-European peoples in the Middle East or other parts of the world are similarly disenfranchised by Europeans, in this case, the British Empire, and how there's some sort of there's a patronizing way in which it's done, and characters legitimately call it out for what it is, and I enjoy that. And there was kind of a little heated debate at a dinner party where you're not supposed to talk politics at a dinner party. Well, they broke that rule. And so I do appreciate that. There are two things. One that's slightly more important and one that honestly is very inconsequential when I think about it, but it's just bugging me. I'll start with the more consequential thing, is that Elias is from the Middle East. He is a BIPOC character, and I feel like there hasn't been much said about this. It kind of amazes me that none of the women in the group seem to bat an eyelash that Katrina is attracted to him, and I understand that they are all very liberal-minded individuals, but it's like Katrina that has to point out how problematic most of society would deem their relationship if it were to become a relationship. None of them seem really bothered by it, which, again, I understand that they are very liberal characters, but it also kind of sort of feels a little bit like we don't see color. Given the context of the Victorian Empire in which these characters are living, I find that a little bit weird that really the only characters that have an issue with his race and his religion, because again, that is part of it, is that are like the characters that we're not meant to like. So it's almost a case of, well, the only people who could be racist or bigoted or any of those things, they could only be the bad characters. I don't think that you needed to make one of them like super, super racist. That's not what I'm saying. And obviously this is a historical romance, so like the romance is really the part that you want to dwell on. But I do feel like it would have been beneficial to the story to at least have someone who we are meant to like have some unconscious biases that need to be worked through, you know? The other thing, which is totally inconsequential, I know this, but it's bugging me. It's bugging me probably more than it should. Okay? So, Katrina, right? Katrina has a nipple piercing, okay? Okay. Whatever floats your boat. Not my cup of tea, but whatever. Please explain to me how in Victorian England, a virgin, how did she get a nipple piercing? Why did she want to get a nipple piercing? Like, what spurred this person on to get that, you know? But, then my other question. Elias sees her at the lock, the beginning of the book, butt naked. And he never so much as mentions in his headspace the piercing. It never comes up in his headspace when he's thinking of her and what he would like to do to her. And like, it doesn't even really play a big moment in like steamy scenes that come up. And so my other question is, are we just meant to think that like all Victorian women have this piercing and that it's normal and that it wouldn't raise eyebrows? Like, good for you, Katrina, but I would love to know the story behind it. And I know this is ridiculous. I know this is a tangent, and I know you're probably looking at me like, Brittany, it's not that important. I know this. I know this and I feel it through my soul, but I just have so many questions. We're gonna stop now because I've rambled on for a bit. I am starving, so I'm gonna go eat. Did you notice I have my William Morris pillows on my bed? I love them. But yeah, I'm gonna eat. At some point, I need to meal prep. I have more mason jar salads. The one I'm doing this week actually features quinoa instead of spinach. I'm very excited about it. And then at some point, I need to cook this sweet potato chili thing that's gonna be my meal for the week. So I have some cooking to do today. Hello, it's me again. Update, I didn't read. I didn't touch a book this afternoon. I kind of got caught up in cooking and just like cleaning my kitchen and vegging out. I made rainbow quinoa mason jar salads for the week. And then I made this like sweet potato chili, like vegetarian chili, which I'm very intrigued about. That just finished on the stove, so I'm very much looking forward to eating that curiosity. So there was a lot in the kitchen to clean up from that, and to be honest, I've been watching a lot of YouTube all day, and now I'm watching The Stranger on Netflix, and I honestly don't see myself doing any more reading today. So we're gonna end this vlog here, and hopefully by the time I start the next vlog, I've at least finished The Gentleman's Gambit, because I am really, really enjoying it at this point, so I want to finish it, and hopefully I will make a little bit more headway with The Marriage Portrait. But anyway, that's it for now. I'll see you in the next vlog. Bye!